Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Portals Podcast, Episode 2. We're here with Chris Carson. This was live on Twitch 24 hours ago. This is what we got up to. Enjoy the video with me and Chris Carson. We'll see you again next week for more live on Twitch 24 hours later on YouTube. If you enjoy this podcast, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you soon. Enjoy the podcast. Well, yeah, welcome in everyone. As today's episode is with Chris, and I'm actually going to start off with the universe that we co-own, the Interactive Family. Obviously, this was started well before I came on board. Obviously, you've shown me a lot of it when we've been going through shows, stuff like that. If you want to, you probably say how it is better than me, so I'm just going to let the floor be yours, and you just introduce the Interactive Family to the people here on Twitch and on YouTube 24 hours later about the Interactive Family as a whole.
All right. Hello, guys. Obviously, Danny gave me the warm welcome reception. My name is Chris Carson. I'm a streamer here on Twitch. And I also broadcast with the likes of Danny the Motor Potter here on Twitch as well. Me and him run a cohesive, well-built, interactive universe mode, but it also is very much story-driven. So we run a lot of drama, plot-heavy things, and basically each superstar, they all have an end goal, ends to the means for the rivalries and for the story arcs. And it's just not about putting on simply just great matches. Is about giving much more than that. It's simply giving a cause for a fight. And if you'd like to join up on the universe mode, if you're new here and you're just hearing this, that's great. If you don't and you just want to hear the real podcast, well, we're going to switch forward to that in a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
Should I say a couple of minutes, really. But that's all I got to say. Danny helps me really put together these universe modes. I feel like with him there by my side helping me edit, it just gives me the extra boost of energy that I always need. I mean, it's always harder to succeed when you got the people around you that you need. So
Definitely. You know. I'm going to say this. I'm also going to stop what we've talked about and thank Suspect Sorry for the follow. Much appreciated here on Twitch. But yeah, basically, as lockdown happened here in the UK, me and Chris were talking a lot about how we could
always down the line.
We were always talking before this, like getting me involved, and then I was part of his show where he used to do the parts, and I said, hang on, how about you send me the bits and I plug it all together? And then we got to like proper segments, feel like it was a proper TV show that you would watch on TV, obviously on USA Network in the US, and obviously Fox now for SmackDown. Obviously in the UK it's BT Sport. Wherever you are, obviously it's your provider, whoever has a contract with we. And we literally did a lot of stuff with that. And it got me to a point where I was literally had it with gaming. I needed to take a step back. But that tells you how much dedication and how much investment I have into what Chris is doing with the Interactive Family. As I say, we know what we need to do, and it's basically off the current WWE roster. So, with everyone who is obviously on the roster on Raw, SmackDown currently, and we are going to add more people in from from NXT, from potentially NXT UK as well, I believe, Chris, because we're going to have our own little draft coming soon, if I remember rightly.
Right after Halloween Havoc, we're gonna do something a little special, but yeah.
Yeah, obviously our upcoming pay-per-view is Halloween Havoc. We do have, obviously Chris does have it all on his channel. And I do believe, what I'll do is, if you are watching on Twitch, I'm going to put the link in that now, quickly. Please, are you watching the stream? There we go. Hey, he's in the chat. Ember, welcome in, by the way. But yeah.
Hello, Ember.
But yeah, we do everything with that, and I used to do house shows, 205 Live here on this channel.
Still can if he wants
I
to.
still can do that, but obviously,
Yeah, I got
as of the
outros loaded
current,
up.
as the current issues with the current climate that we're in, I don't know what my days are going to be like. Obviously, my hours are cut, and I'm going to do a special video on that, which will be airing over the weekend. I'll be recording that personally, and I'll be obviously going through my own experiences of obviously the current stuff that's going on. If you want to talk about that yourself, Chris, like everything that's obviously in your area, you're more than welcome to speak on it now. Before I get on to the next topic, it's up to you if you want to talk about it or not.
There's
Like,
nothing to talk about. You're the road agent. That's all I got to say. Road agent Danny. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
basically, I look at all the talent that we've got, and obviously the talent the WWE has. Some of them, in our opinion, you can correct me if I'm wrong, haven't reached the potential we think they should be doing. Like for Liv Morgan, for instance, all the hype it had in real life to then be obviously put back with Ruby Riot. Obviously, we're doing something different with that. Okay, Kimmy, we've got a host. Kimmy, we have a host.
We are. Hello?
No, sorry, I just had a host thing come through. That's why I just stopped. No worry, but if you want to say something, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you.
Oh, no. It's cool. It's cool. Just thought something going wrong.
But yeah, obviously, talking about real life wrestling, obviously, tell us when you started watching it and how you think products as a whole has changed since you started watching it to what we have currently right now.
Wow, that's a good way to start off the night. All right, cool.
You know me.
Cool.
Not like I already briefed you on what I wanted to do.
No, I think this got me a little excited. I just want to let everybody know in the chat that what we're doing is very fucking important, and they better get their asses in here. I'm live.
Obviously, live on my Twitch channel. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna let everybody know.
Yeah, I've already say we do have the interactive Discord. Obviously, you might have noticed in the chat if you are watching on Twitch, I have put the link to the podcast. But every single last week's episodes with the draft that we did last week in part 1 and part 2 is already there, and obviously an intro to how the podcast will work.
Yeah. Yeah, let's just get to it before you lose track. All right.
Go for
it. Here's to answer the question. All right, guys. So I'm not gonna tell you guys my age, but you guys can guess. I wasn't born in this country, so guys, I have a different experience with wrestling. I grew up in America. I came here when I was 2, and here's a little thing about that. When I was growing up here, I don't remember anything of my past. I have people from my country, from my, from my family. Other people I still don't remember be like, oh, you don't remember this? No, I raised you as a little baby. And I was just like, no, I really don't. The only thing I remember is I lived with my grandma for a little bit, my mom, and got bits to see my dad. So, yeah. So, wrestling is the first thing that I remember vividly. Wrestling is everything to me. All right, and here's to let you know why. At 2 years old, I just remember getting to see bits of SmackDown on TV. My grandma, she couldn't afford cable. Well, she didn't pay for cable because she didn't really need it. And SmackDown was the only thing I got to see. So, seeing Brock Lesnar on my TV screen was everything to me. Getting to see a little bit, just a tad bit of The Rock was everything to me. Obviously I didn't grow up seeing Steve Austin, grow up seeing The Rock, but seeing those guys was everything to me. Then, as time evolved over in time, it grew stronger in me. I got to see guys like Eddie, Kurt Angle, Undertaker. John Cena was my favorite superstar of all time, still is to this day, and I don't give a fuck what anybody got to say. That's my guy, you know what I'm saying? And here's my thing, man. I grew up with so much of these larger-than-life characters. It just got to a point where I just became obsessed. I remember having going on YouTube around '05 when it was just like beginning, like YouTube '05 to like '07, '08, '09. Just watching all these throwback matches back when you couldn't get copyrighted with the stuff. Seeing
Oh, yeah.
like Bad Blood, '04, seeing Goldberg versus Jericho. I was that invested. I didn't even know so much of the stuff that was going on. I was like, I used to get invested so much in these matches. I used to love watching the promos of the matches. I couldn't watch a pay-per-view match without seeing the promos. Like, I had to see like the hype up promos for it stuff. Like Goldberg versus Jericho was like one of the ones I remember, like in '04 Bad Blood, because it stemmed off some real life animosity. Then he even got like the backstage stuff where Goldberg got handled by Jericho. I remember seeing guys like, I don't really want to say his name, but Chris Benoit, stuff like that. It might have gone out. It just went out on my end, so
More.
yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, the YouTube lot will hear it anyway. So it's still going. It's not as if it's...
Yeah. So like I was saying, like it used to be an honor for me just to get to see the Raw replay. Like I used to dream about just wanting to see Triple H because I had no cable. I was my family was a little poor. Like, bro, I used to want to see what was going on Raw. Like, oh, I want to see what's going on that show. Like, it was a taboo to me. I used to know all these superstars, go on the website all the time. Like sometimes when I go to computer lab in school, I might check up on what's going on WWE.com. Like I was invested. Like I remember this one time I found a folder of The Rock from like '98, and I was just hype as fuck, and I got mad when my teacher said I couldn't use it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's how much I love wrestling. I just love The Rocks. Steve Austin, all those guys. I remember growing up just seeing sometimes seeing these legends on my TV show like Hulk Hogan. And I used to be like, that guy right there is wrestling god. You know what I'm saying? Like, he started it all. Like Hogan is the wrestling god to me. You know what I'm saying? Like seeing him, like he was basically almost like not to say I put wrestling that high above, but I was such a kid. Like I made that so much of an idol in my life. Like when I saw Hogan, I just thought he was wrestling god. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I thought Cena was like the next one up, and Batista obviously. And I just love all these guys growing up. This is my thing. This is my passion. And to see the way the business is dictated, it just destroyed me.
Yeah. So we've had countless conversations when we've been booking the Interactive Family about how you feel. Obviously, everything is now. With obviously a lot of the independent wrestlers starting to get into WWE, changing the style, changing the philosophy of everything. Obviously, NXT being the way it is, having a lot of indie people come through and get them to understand how WWE works. To then sometimes when they go to the main roster, which we're referring to as Raw and SmackDown, this is before we see NXT as part of our series. I believe I'm going in that direction, where some of them would blossom, then others would crumble because of the way their gimmick was in NXT doesn't resonate with fans who watch Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. I mean, here's my thing about indie wrestlers. I always warmed up to those guys back in the day. Back when I was back in '08, I felt like there's a sudden shift in wrestling where things became a little bit more docile and the excitement was just gone a little bit. It took years for it to really be gone, but I felt like by 2012, like the excitement, the love for the business all around was just gone at that point. I warmed up to guys like CM Punk. I love CM Punk, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like CM Punk is my guy, I thought he was cool as shit back in ECW. I love CM Punk, I warmed up to Daniel Bryan on an NXT show because why? I thought Daniel Bryan was cool off the fact that he said he grew up wanting to be a wrestler, and that's something you just can't take out. The heart, I resonated with that,
Yeah.
I gave smaller guys chances off of that strength alone because they got the thing in my heart that I could sense that's in their heart, And after around '08, things started becoming a little bit more grounded. You start seeing less blood. You start seeing, less females being, perceived as, you know, doing things that are sexy or just looking sexy, everything became a little bit more weirder. Like they took out the women's title and brought in the Divas Championship, and I'm like, what is this butterfly, you know, bullshit? You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah, a
what
lot.
are
It's to cut you off in this bit, but like they made it. I heard the reference of a Bratz doll type of
That's
match.
exactly what it was. It looked like the Twix. I forgot. It's some cartoon. Yeah, it's like some Fox cartoon. But yeah, it looked like that shit right there. I was just like, what is that, man? That isn't wrestling. You get what I'm saying? Like that's not wrestling. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like I still like some people on the side here and there in wrestling, but like once we got to that point, like wrestling never became the same to me again. After '08, I just felt like it was just gone from what I once knew it was. You know? And the indie guys aren't the problem. They're not the kilter of the problem, but I just feel like the mindset is a problem. I feel like there's so much of an anti WWE mindset that goes around. People legitimately hate on everything WWE, and I feel like they just changed with the times. They became. Is the stream still messing up?
yeah, it's bothered. It's gone
I'm just
zero
I'm awake.
gigabytes. Yeah, it's fine. Get it out. Get it out. It's not an issue. Yeah, it's really annoying when it does. It looks like we're back. It looks like we're back.
All right. All right, yeah. So, back to what I was trying to say. So, yeah, you know, got me off track a little bit. But here's the thing: I never hated these indie guys. It just slowly, after time, it got to a point where I was just forcibly liking myself to like these indie guys. You know what I'm saying? Like around when I tell you when the PG era hit the hardest was around 2012 when I couldn't get invested into nobody. Characters were just too comedic and goofy to me. You know,
Yeah,
I couldn't take the Nexus serious. I couldn't take Keith Slater serious. They they killed all the things I liked in a guy like Drew McIntyre. They made him less serious. You know, I
3MB and
like
all that.
yeah, I liked dashing Cody Rhodes because I thought that was a good gimmick for him. I like the undashing gimmick. I thought that was a pretty good gimmick for him. I liked a few things in that mid period. I like the you know the SOS sobriety thing that CM Punk did. I thought that was a pretty good gimmick. You know, I liked a few things in there if I could really remember, but like they're not rememberable enough. You know what I'm trying to say? Like they
Like,
don't stand out.
yeah, standout moments that
Yeah, there's no standout moments,
10
and I
years
feel
from
like
now you can still talk about.
WWE just lost that drive to make me get excited. Like I remember, like I hated and just missing 1 minute into Raw, like that bad. Like there was a
Yeah,
point where I just skipped all of SmackDown. Like I wouldn't watch SmackDown for years. To get me to watch that show, you must have. I really had no time at all to be doing anything. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And
Obviously,
yeah,
like,
go ahead.
obviously since the pandemic, what's your opinions of it been? Obviously, a lot of people have been praising WWE because obviously the fact they've got a fight with AEW and stuff like that. How do you perceive wrestling? Not just WWE, any other promotion like Impact, AEW, NWA as well.
Well, I'll tell you this: WWE is a company. They're like a cockroach that just won't die until they get exterminated with the right type of strand. You know what I'm saying? From the right can. But
Yeah,
I always knew WWE was going to survive. Wrestling as a whole, I'm surprised these other companies are able to do so well. AEW, that's one good thing I like. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I don't watch AEW. I haven't watched an episode of AEW since it started. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I haven't really been keeping up with it. I
I haven't
tried
watched an
to
episode.
watch that and NXT, and obviously at the time I was watching the 100 on Free Monitors. I couldn't even keep up.
Yeah, I haven't watched episodes since they started. But I like the fact that they got their own show and they feel somewhat big time. The wrestlers may not be big time, but the show, the presentation itself is big time. And big kudos to what the WWE's trying to do. The excitement, even with wrestling now, and to me not being as exciting as it possibly can be, even before this pandemic stuff. But I give kudos for what they're trying to do. The effort, well, they got my respect on the effort level. Execution on things, can't say too much because they can't do too much. You
Mm.
know.
yeah, obviously for me, obviously I've been trying to keep up with everything ever since obviously the pandemic hit. Obviously, when you're at home, you're forced to be at home, obviously because of government saying, "Oh yeah, you must close your place down." And like, I had a long 5 months of watching wrestling, watching TV shows, helping out Chris with Interactive Family, being part of the commentary team more, and also now more of a backstage role in it. And obviously, with that gives me ideas of what kind of like an outsider looking in certain things. Obviously, I'm now understanding why how Chris books stuff as well. Obviously, he's wrestling man because obviously we watched the Raw review, G, where Coach was supposed to say sorry, but didn't with Kane and stuff like that. Watched that not long ago. Remember rightly?
Yeah.
And
Let's
like,
just say we've been watching old school Ross.
yeah, like basically he's trying to educate me more because obviously when I came into watching it, I was part of that fatal time back in 2011 where Jeff Hardy had that Victory Road incident, which is part of obviously the WWE 24 with the Hardys. It was part of that.
You don't gotta mention that, but yeah.
But I'm just gonna leave it at that.
He started watching when TNA became Impact Wrestling.
Yeah, pretty much,
That's all I
pretty
gotta
much.
say.
That is pretty much where I started.
Pretty much when they was learning to try to be a copycat WWE.
Yeah,
They lost their identity a little bit. But yeah, get what you mean.
I'm gonna wait until this unbuffers itself. That's the last.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. I used to watch TNA too. I forgot all about that. Huh?
Yeah,
I forgot to mention that. Like people don't know that, but I truly used to watch the fuck out of TNA. I used to watch that shit from like 06, 07, all the way until like 010. Until that stupid group that they came up with just became trash. It made the
Immortal and Fortune.
Yeah, it took away from their identity. That's one thing I hate from wrestling, when companies take away from their identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like ECW, what made ECW great is they had their own identity. It was super raunchy. Like I'm planning after I'm done watching like a little bit of 05 Raw to start watching ECW from like the 90s.
Yeah, obviously get that extreme stuff.
Not to see the matches or anything. I just want to get that vibe.
I get the vibe of what you wanted to see ECW to be. Obviously, when it came back, obviously it was a lot watered down. Obviously, Paul Heyman it cost Paul Heyman his job at the time, I believe. Or he walked out one or two. And obviously, when they brought ECW back.
That's why I be trying to watch WCW, and I try to, like, every time I try to watch WCW, I could barely get into it sometimes because it's just like they're still learning how to be goofy and not goofy at the same time. I'm watching like 96 every time I watch WCW Nitro. I know I got to speed up to like 97 and 98, but I'm trying to see the growth of the NWO first. But yeah.
So obviously, last week was the draft. I've not actually prepared you for this, but I'm gonna say, out of obviously the draft, what I know you've commented a little bit on it. Obviously, we had System and Ember around, but your overall thoughts on it. Like, who do you think is going to be the major players on Raw and major players in SmackDown, going up to obviously leading up into Royal Rumble and then Mania next year?
Every person with the most gimmicks is going to succeed on the show, because with a gimmick you always got something to do. But here's my opinion on it. I got an idea that I'll just lay on the table, because I don't think anybody will think of this. I don't think anybody else will say, oh, this is so different. I would like to floatly get rid of the brand split and just cut a lot of people out the roster. And here's my reason why. A lot of these guys and girls, they pretty much are the carbon copy of each other. A lot of people, they just basically they don't stand out from each other on the show. Like, when I think of 80s wrestling, I think of the golden era. And you know why I like the golden era so much? I respect the golden era so much. It could be as corny as it could be, but here's the thing. They got a gimmick for almost everybody, and they got a character, and they know what direction they're going to. I like Mr. Perfect because he's the perfect jock. You know, I like Rick Rude because he's the perfect pretty boy. I like Hulk Hogan because he's the, you know, the alpha male American made, you know, jacked up guy. I like Macho Man because he's a guy that strives off of being machismo. I like, you know, Roddy Piper because he's an arrogant, you know, cocky, you know, loudmouth, somewhat badass, you know. I like those guys because they got characters and you got things you could do with them. Hell, I even like this guy. I'm just thinking of the era, but you know, I know I'm not supposed to really say his name, but I'm gonna say it. I like Jimmy Superfly Snicker because he's a wild man character from Isles of Samoa. Like, I like that. You know, how many people look like him? You know what I'm saying?
Not
I even
many.
like Ricky. I even like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat because you know he's an Asian, like, you know, kind of like a he's an Asian badass type of guy that used to spit fire out of his mouth and shit like
Oh
that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah, the entrance. Yeah, still have
that's
that in.
cool.
It's
They
still, I
look like
believe they still have it in
superheroes.
WWE.
That's what I'm trying to say. They
Games.
got all of those guys. They look like superheroes. Even Big Boss Man. The Canadian version of the Boss Man, the Mountie. I remember the fucking Mountie, bro. Do you know how far back that goes? The Mountie.
No idea.
Paul Orndorff. You know,
Name rings a
guys like
bell. Name rings a bell. Oh,
yeah,
no,
Paul Orndorff and look up Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper. Like, I'm naming you guys that are classics because of the character, the gimmick. They stand out so much. You know why I liked Elias? You know what he showed me on Raw this week?
Go ahead.
He is so entertaining. His character could get him so far about his wrestling. Look at what he did. Look at what he did with that concert. He filled up at least a good 7 minute time segment off of just him singing and getting hit with a guitar by Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, like obviously, when you have a perfect gimmick that actually works with you, you know full well
Yes,
it
and that's why I
works.
like The Undertaker. That's why I like Mankind. Like, Mankind is a tortured soul that grabs out his hair. Like, Abyss basically ripped off Mankind's character. Okay?
Yeah, obviously that was the modern version of obviously the character.
He's just a super giant. Like, he copied his mannerisms, the way he comes down the ring, grabs his hands, and they're all clenched up, like, you know, he's balled up in a corner or something, pulling out the hair. Like, Mankind was a tortured soul that liked to beat the shit out of people and, you know, beat the shit out of himself. I like that character. Like, I'm thinking, when I think of Mankind, I don't even think about the version of him with the t-shirt and the Attitude Era. I'm thinking about, like, right around getting to the Attitude Era. I'm thinking about him in the Undertaker boiler room, you know?
Just before the Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, and there's so many great characters from, like, that period that you could just pluck out. Razor Ramon, you know? He's like a Miami street version of machismo at its finest, you know what I'm saying? I like characters
Diesel.
like that, you know? Yeah, Diesel. Well, Diesel is just like a bodyguard type of guy. He doesn't really got that much character, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels is like this charismatic, larger than life guy that's just like he's almost the average. He almost looks like the average guy, but he's not the average guy because he just does things that the average guy just can't do. And,
Obviously, you had
he
Bret
thinks he's
Hart
a
around
sexy
that
boy.
time as well.
Yeah, he thinks he's a sexy boy. That's why I like characters like that, you know? Ric Flair, if you want to go back to 80s, he's a styling, pro flying, jet flying, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun, you know. You know, he's doing all of that stuff.
All the mannerisms that you need.
Like, that's why to me Ric Flair was more over than Sting.
Yeah.
And Sting, even to a lighter degree, he still got a character. I mean, he got a face mask. He looks different. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really appreciate those guys and types of characters. Like, we don't have those much guys. Like, that's why I like The Fiend in today's wrestling.
Yeah.
You know, I like Elias. You know, I like a lot of the women's division. I just think that the wrong ones are being pushed right now.
Yeah.
I feel like Lacey Evans has a great gimmick and it's not being utilized. You know, like people were hating on Lacey Evans' gimmick when it first came out, but did she not stand out from everybody else? Damn near.
Pretty much stood out because obviously she's a former army veteran. Using that as part of your gimmick is, I'd say, is
Exactly.
decent. It gives you base to improve.
Exactly. I love Daniel Bryan. Like, Daniel Bryan may have hated this, but I will tell him to his face. if this ever gets out to him, I love the evil vegan environmentalist gimmick. That was great. It was like he was trying to save the planet, but everybody's not taking him serious, but he's taking himself serious. Like, that was great.
I think we actually had discussions at the time, and like,
Yeah.
we were saying what's not to love on it. And to be fair for me, I actually, looking back now, it actually worked. The gimmick worked. Like, I might have not liked it at the time. I'll be one of the first to admit that. But the fact that
gets people, it got Kofi over.
Exactly, got Kofi over.
Extremely over.
Like, making a biodegradable title, like, massive heat. John Cena got massive heat when he did the WWE Spinner title.
Yeah, and he stood out back then. I think that's the main reason why people seem to hate on Cena, is because he got away from what made him great.
And people just wanted that heel turn. Everyone's been craving for the heel turn on him. Same with Roman until now.
I'm telling you, okay, the heel turn for Roman and the heel turn of Cena, I think what people are getting misconstrued is they lost their edge over what made them cool.
Yeah.
What made him cool. Cena turning into Super Cena is not what made him cool. It's the fact that he dressed different from everyone. It's the fact that in a modern day, this guy walks around in jean shorts in every fucking arena and walks around with a chain around his neck and jerseys. I think that's what made him cool when he rapped, you know? And he got this like
ergonomics styles.
It's like, and he had that brawler style, so like everything he did just fit, you know? It's just like everything about him was just different. Like the way he talked, like how many, like people want to say he talked like a black guy, but like that's what made him cool. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't feel like the average white boy. He was John's freaking Cena. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what made him cool. And what made Roman cool at one point was the fact that he just didn't talk to everyone, and you didn't see him do a lot of things. But when he did something, you know it was him. You know what I'm saying?
Like, he was simplistic and obviously then methodical as well. Obviously then everything messed up with the way, obviously, as soon as he left the Shield. Yeah, like that was probably the perfect time to do something.
Yeah, that was the guy. That was the guy you always have to take serious, you know.
Mm.
And you guys want to know why Otis is getting such a push right now? It's the fact that he's charismatic as hell, and he got over.
Awesome.
His gimmick is he's a simplistic meathead that everybody loves.
Like, obviously, the way he did on Raw yesterday, this past Monday, where he was a weird version of himself, a luchador version of himself.
But it worked because it's him.
Exactly, and obviously
the outfit was trash, but
yeah, it was an awful outfit, but it made sense the way they did it.
Yeah, I thought it to be a little goofy, but since it's Otis, I know he can make it work. You know, even R-Truth to a little extent. Guys like that, they know how to make shit work, and it's just like the characters work leads you to how good your character could be. And that's why I think that's what people are missing. Like, I'm sure you guys love, all your wrestlers that could do great moves and stuff, but it's simply not all just about that. It's about what they could bring to the table. Like, I like AJ Styles, but you know the main reason why he has that 7-foot guy behind him?
Oh, yeah.
It's because where does AJ Styles go from here? Having that 7-foot guy there just brings another dynamic to it.
Obviously, there's stuff with Joseph Parks. Looks like that's now dead in the water.
Yeah, like Alexa Bliss, for example. I'm looking at her. I'm just looking at the roster today, guys. I'm on the website looking at the website. I'm on AEW.com.
Alright, so just intervene in this. Because you know I'm going to fanboy, and it is the fanboy section of the actual podcast. As soon as we get to Alexa Bliss, I fanboy.
You gotta let me get my points out.
Gotta get your point out first.
Yeah, I think it's something you gotta smooth out, bro. I think you gotta take a backseat on this one. Because I got something to say. Obviously, Alexa Bliss, like, for a while there, she was floundering as like some weird type of baby face. Like, you didn't know if she was gonna turn on Nikki or not. You know what I'm saying? Hello? Oh wait, it's not you. It's not you. It's me. Do you speak? No, it's this microphone. It got low again. I want to have to put on my big headset. No, it's not you. It's totally my mic headset. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. Here's the thing about Alexa Bliss I was trying to get across. The thing about Alexa Bliss that I saw was over the past couple of months, we're leading into something greater in her character. Like, she's no longer the goddess anymore. She's evolved into this like play like almost like Chucky's wife of the Fiend. Like that's where we're getting to, and I could like that a part of her character. Like it's mystic, it feels out of this world, and I think I'm gonna like it if they do the things right with it. And that's what I mean about characters evolving and growing over time, and not just being more than just wrestlers. They're being characters. They're being TV stars. Uh, and I think that's one thing that wrestling, you know, wrestlers nowadays just don't get across in their mind. It's just it's more about that. It's more about that. Like your look, like changing your hair color might just do something for you. Getting more buff in the gym might do something for you. You know, coming up with a maybe a sleazy comedic gimmick, it might just do something for you, because who knows how much TV time you might be getting week to week when you're working on main event. Like guys like Mustafa Ali, let's be honest, Mustafa Ali and Ricochet, they were complaining, well, mostly Ali. They were throwing little subtle jabs at, oh yeah, guys, you catch me this week on main event, and it's like, okay, what do you want us to do every week? You want us to plug you in on Monday Night Raw, have a 20-minute match against Ricochet or somebody quite like you every single week, leading up to absolutely nothing, and then like, oh, to make it something, we're gonna add more superstars that wrestle like you, and then possibly we'll put you guys in a ladder match. Like that's not gonna work every single time, guys. Like you see Ali, he's getting more screen time because now he's got a group. He got something to do. He's got retribution. That's what people are not seeing behind this. Even that's a gimmick for him. Huh? Hello? Yeah, I think my headphone jack is a little bit damaged. Can you speak? Yeah, my thing is a little damaged. Yeah. No, not that. It's my computer internally. It's a little damaged. Yeah, motherboard bit. But yeah, I think I've made my point about the characters. I think there's other elements I could get into. So if you got anything for me to say, I'll just give you my opinion on it and where I think wrestling is going wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but I know it worked in the past, and I could tell you why things are going wrong. How about that? Obviously, I feel like it's generic, to be honest with you. It's generic on their part because all they're doing is simply just putting three black guys together in the same group. Four, yeah. But I don't got a problem with it. I think it gives them something to do. Obviously, they're getting more TV time out of it. When was the last time you seen Shelton Benjamin do something meaningful? Yeah, there was nothing for him to do. But still be what? Oh, I think it's your mic settings, Denny. Try to raise it up a little bit. Talk a little bit louder. Try to.
It's not. Well, there we go. There we go. But yeah, everything you know about the champions currently in WWE. Who do you think will still be champion going into Mania?
Going into Mania.
Yeah.
I'm on the website right now, so give me a second.
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously, you got.
Right,
go ahead.
So, champions going into Mania. Expect Street Profits to be champion all the way into WrestleMania and even after. Expect Bayley to be the champion all the way into WrestleMania.
So you think
possibly could see a title change with Asuka, but don't really expect it. Drew McIntyre. There's not really any worthy opponents from, and I don't think he's going to get one. So yeah, I think he's gonna stay champion for a while. Expect the tag team titles to change for sure.
got the Raw tag team titles?
Women's.
Oh, the women's tag, yeah. Who do you think will be the next women's tag champions then?
Just expect some bullshit makeshift team like we see right now.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I can say about that.
Yeah. Obviously, the last point I've written down, which you obviously know about, is obviously your normal day-to-day life. Obviously, outside of the Twitch bubble, what do you really like to get up to? I know we've done it. I know you've shown me a little bit of shopping, which I'm not going to delve into because we're going to leave that as it is.
Shopping with Carson.
Yeah, we've been doing a little bit of that, yeah. I actually said to him I think he should bring this as a dynamic to his Twitch. But I don't know if he's actually going to do it, so... You never know.
I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think I would have to get a proper face cam and show
Yeah.
you what I'm talking about.
But yeah, going deep and personal. Let's know the Chris Carson, the person. Yeah.
Okay, for starters, you know, I like to watch basketball. I like to obviously, well, not like to. I think it's like I'm starting to like to. I like to work out now a little bit more. I like to, you know, obviously get my body in tune with my mind as much as possible. Because I'm always thinking and overthinking. I think putting your body into use by working out is a good way to obviously calm your mind, and while at the same time taking up good shape. And you know, I try to. And now, right now, currently, my life is just about trying to hit new levels in terms of that. In terms of working out, like just trying to like peak certain things and just trying to get back to certain, you know, things.
Yeah, getting back to how you were a few years back, for instance, so on and so forth.
Yeah, just a few years back. I'm obviously like I'm like in the mix right now of where I used to be and where I need to be, and I'm just trying to like go to another level because like I feel like because of the reason I used to somewhat work out is like I'm having problems like trying to peak because like I don't know where is like the next level for me to reach, you know?
Yeah, like trying to motivate yourself to get to the next level.
Yeah.
For me, like that's an issue for me. Obviously, I like to sit down when I'm at home. I don't
Yeah.
really go out the house unless I'm going shopping.
Yeah.
And obviously go to work. That's the only times I do. And obviously I walk a lot in the casino. Obviously when I have to go to the break room or if I'm doing like the clean, I'm walking around. I don't really eat that much now. Over lockdown I was eating a lot of food, but I kind of
nothing to do. Time consumes you.
exactly, yeah. Like these last like the 5 months I was off, it was ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
I'm legit. Where I'm sat right now is legit my home for 15 hours a day. Whilst I was
That's why I try to work out because it's like I'm obviously for school and stuff like that. Obviously, gotta spend a lot more time in here than I need to be, and just like I'm somewhat of a private reserved person, but it's not like I'm saying that in like some asshole-ish way, but it's more so in I'm just not as given as I used to be, with people. I feel like
yeah.
you
You feel like you want to do
going past that point, and I don't have to try so hard anymore.
Yeah, a lot
If
of things
anything.
have changed for a lot of people. Obviously,
Yeah.
a lot of people have lost jobs during this pandemic, and obviously, a lot of things do turn sour for a lot of people, and everyone hates it when it does stuff like that. Obviously, there's a lot of people who still have jobs, which are very thankful because of certain government things, and obviously, being stuck inside, sometimes it could affect your mental health. Obviously, if you do stuff like working out, it can obviously help your mind, help you focus, help your body. Sometimes release really good stuff into the world.
She creates somewhat positive energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do more so in life. And streaming is something that I love to do, and that's another way for me to combine all my energy into something.
Yeah, like obviously I'm gonna go back to the thing from last week. That Dominic versus obviously Lashley match. Like we were literally watching it as it happened, and it's like as if we didn't know what was going to happen next. It was like moment after moment after moment. But that type of stuff got me hyped. Legitimately, I was like, there was so much energy from the match. Like you felt like you had to keep watching to see how it ended.
There's a story being built up in the match, and if you want to go back to wrestling, that's something I could touch on.
Yeah, go for it. Look, I've gone through everything I want to talk about. Let's just delve into whatever. Let's just delve into whatever until we feel like we've come to a conclusion.
In matches, right? Here's the thing. Here's the thing about wrestlers today. A lot of wrestlers cut through a lot of segments in the match just because either in their mind they're thinking this is a dry period and they want to rush through it to give more action and give more excitement to the crowd. But what a lot of wrestlers don't realize is when you don't give them any, less excitement, sometimes that's not a good thing, because what you're doing is you're force feeding their mind to work super auto fast, and it's not a good thing because humans ourselves need to just get a rest period. And when you're watching a show with 5, 6, 7 matches at a time, it's really not good because no one match is not going to be able to stand out from the other. And if you're doing a lot of high risk moves, and then you're just obviously you're going to devalue the moves like with power bombs, DDTs, super kicks, the use of forearms. All these moves has been done to death in any company, not just WWE. Independents everywhere. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A variation of kicks is just different. I remember I was watching old Raw, and I was just like, wow, Shawn Michaels really hit him with a goddamn super kick. And it felt potent. It felt important. You get what I mean?
Like the attack when he did that thing when Sean Benjamin came off the top rope into.
I don't want to over talk about that moment, but it was just the fact that he hit a super kick
in the
match just got me excited. I was like, wow.
Like when
that finally felt like the nail in the coffin. Like I got nurtured into that type of style in my mind, more casual, laid back style. And watching guys like Eugene and stuff, like some things like Eugene, guys like Eugene, Mankind, they got a certain type of physical charisma. Sometimes you're not able to make up, the type of charisma you could give by in promos, but you could give it in the ring by seeming shy or seeming timid, or coming off a certain type of way in your matches. Like that's what one of the things I like about Nikki Cross. She shows so much physical charisma inside the ring, whether it's her getting her hair flipped over and then like going off, screaming, stuff like that. Like that just shows like, yo, she's really in there and she's fighting.
Like, she's not lost her sanity days, but obviously molded into the sanity, like a babyface version of her.
Yeah,
but obviously
like that's little things. I mean, like the Nikki Cross scream, or hell, the Batista flipping the thumbs down.
the thumbs up to thumbs down thing. I've just done on the stream.
Randy Orton doing a little, punches on the
like
ground.
that and stuff like that. The thing is in the corner.
Snake.
Yeah.
Kofi doing the clap and be like, "New Day rocks." Like,
yeah,
doing stuff like
the little
that.
bits that actually work.
Yeah, like, or Ric Flair, like him wooing across the ring, or doing that thing where he falls down on his face very funnily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or Eddie doing the little, shrug, the little Latino shrug that he does. Like things like that get you invested with the crowd.
Yeah.
Or Cena, how Cena used to do the thing where he used to scrunch up his toes?
I don't think I remember that.
He used to scrunch up his shoes before he hits the attitude adjustment.
Alright, okay.
And the crowd used to be in love with that. Or like, you can't see me. There's certain little things you can do.
Yeah, you can see me, for the Five Knuckle Shuffle, yeah.
Actual promos, you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like Shawn Michaels with the crowd chanting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, super kick, boom.
Like when he's tuning up the band.
Yeah, like there's certain little things you guys could do inside of the ring, and I think people don't get that across enough in their head. It's just like, you don't have to get through a sequence of moves, and then by the end of the match you just do this one simple looking move compared to all the moves that you did before, and just like it feels like there's nothing. Like,
there's a lot in certain matches, like, there's been a lot of false finishes, but certain matches that works well.
Yeah,
others it doesn't.
People need to get more of a slow style because they're not emphasizing what's a pay-per-view match from a regular TV show match. Yeah. But yeah, go ahead to your point. I just had to.
But yeah, like with a lot of the back in the day, like a lot of moves were protected.
Exactly.
Like when Brock Lesnar did the F5, there was only a few people who would kick out. Everyone else would not kick out.
Yeah, the psychology of the matches were there, and I don't think it's more psychology. I think it's about wrestling nowadays is just about trying to get excitement.
Like basically trying to get key move after key move after key move. It's too frequent.
Like a goddamn ballerina recital.
Like it's too.
JR used to say this all the time, but it ain't ballet, but shit, it's starting to turn into softcore ballet. You know what I mean? Like, goddamn. Like, you guys notice? I'm pretty sure you guys noticed that last SmackDown I did when I was playing as King Corbin. Obviously, you guys can see I was playing in that match. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes, sometimes I have to play the matches to get the story across. But every match I've played to get the story across, not to toot my own horn or anything, but like I try to get people to have that feeling like, yo, in that Edge versus Randy Orton match we did Extreme Rules, I try to get that.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Edge is dead. You know what I mean? Like he's dead.
Like there's been a few that you've done, like obviously what we've done in the past where we've legit like had to intervene, but the reason we do it is to add the story in.
Yeah, and get that character development in. Like if I'm not doing everything I possibly can to damage Edge's neck, what's the point of me mentioning it in the promos? You get what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, you target one area.
It was a brawl more than a wrestling match. It was a lot of punches. It was a lot of grit and grind stuff. I was doing extreme rules stuff. I wasn't just trying to turn this into a simple, let's do a suplex here, let's do a reversal on the Irish whip here. It wasn't any of that stuff.
Basically, it's to use each weapon in its own unique way to cause damage.
Yeah,
like we literally went through it. We literally had we went through it countless times. Even while I was watching it, like trying to think, oh, we could take this from this bit, we can take this from that bit, take this for this bit, and then mold it in together to make it like as if it's one match. Like we're literally breaking down our walls of what we do right now.
And people don't realize that. Like I have to go through like multiple times just to make the match look that damn good. Like I'm getting myself concerned thinking about what I'm gonna do for Royal Rumble.
But then again, we got the PC. We're on the PC with the mods, so there'll be some things we can do with it.
Yeah, but like back to what I was trying to say, like I got more points to get to. Like the Drew McIntyre versus Edge match. I felt like Edge was finally like the way we started that match was like Drew was getting Edge was basically getting his ass kicked, right? It looked like the guy was like, "What are you even doing in there against a brute like this, against Drew McIntyre? What are you doing? You're looking foolish right now." Why did you even think about stepping back inside the ring? We emphasize Drew's size advantage. Sure, Edge might be 6'4", 6'5", but he's not 260 like Drew McIntyre. He doesn't got that muscle mass like McIntyre. He's not as explosive as Drew McIntyre. You get what I mean?
Yeah, and obviously then, like somewhere in it, you brought the belief that Edge is going to win it. And just after, as he's about to pin, out comes Randy Orton.
The best way to explain it is like watching Goku fight. That's what it felt like. Like it felt like at the end, like, oh my god, we're about to see Edge somehow make this triumphant, return, and he's about to get the championship. Like, how could he do this after all this,
After all that time away, boom, Randy Orton kills it off.
And then the fucking Viper, like, how dare you steal my moment,
Yeah.
We even did that with the Daniel Bryan #1 contenders match on SmackDown. People may have forgot about that one. We had AJ Styles interfere and he cost,
Yeah. There's certain things that we've done in it, like we've added run-ins that actually make sense.
Yeah,
like you
that's
see,
what I'm trying to say. Like, there's more to a match just besides the theatrics that goes inside the ring, besides the moves.
Like, if you go into a normal WWE match on WWE 2K games, any game, can be the worst game, in my opinion, the worst game in history, 2K20 or 2K19, 18, so on and so forth. And you have that random run-in that you've not even asked for. And it doesn't help with the match. You can get peed off with that. Whereas obviously the way we do it is, right, we've got this match. Is the run-in worth it? Yes. Okay. How do we want to incorporate that run-in? How would it work?
You gotta, push that moment to its apex, and that's what we try to do.
Make it like as if it's a big moment in the match, regardless if it's on a normal TV show, like the weekly ones, or your turning point. There we go. Or a pay-per-view match, because people will remember them moments, like with obviously Retribution on Raw with Alexa Bliss. I'll get back to the beginning of Raw this week. Alexa Bliss was already in the ring. The Fiend came out. They held hands. They literally froze. Retribution was all the way around them. Then the lights go out, and then bang. Lights come back on. They're not even there anymore.
Here's an example. There's been countless Austin versus Rock matches, right?
Yes, there's been countless of them, yeah.
Yeah, people don't know. They've been wrestling each other since '97. Since Steve and The Rock were competing for the
Intercontinental title.
Intercontinental title. And the matches that stood out the most, the match that really stood out the most between them, out of all those times they got to face each other in the ring, was one, the Hell in a Cell match, the Armageddon one.
Oh yeah.
They were both involved, but that doesn't really count. But the match that really mattered the most was WrestleMania 17.
When Austin joined McMahon.
Yeah, because there's a turning point in that match and a turning point for the company where it fucking killed everything. But you get what I mean. Yeah.
Apparently, Austin said himself he didn't. He was thinking, "Do I really want to go through with it?"
Yeah, but I'm not here to talk about Steve, but that's just a minor example I'm trying to give to you guys. Like, there's been countless HBK versus Triple H matches, but you know which match that stood out the most between those two? SummerSlam 2002, plain and simple. Not the
I'm
Three Stages of Hell
typing,
match, no, the SummerSlam 02 match, because it was Michael's return, it was Triple H's, time on top, and Triple H barely lost, but guess what? At the end of the match, Triple H hit him with a goddamn sledgehammer to the back while he was making his return,
Yeah.
Those are the moments that stand out in time to people. Like, I'm giving you, like, faint little moments,
Yeah, there's little bits, like, where obviously moments work well, and obviously other moments that don't work well.
Yeah, like Goldberg versus Brock, for example,
Where, obviously, The Rock went away after...
No, Brock, Goldberg versus Brock.
Goldberg versus Rock, where Austin was referee when everyone knew they were both leaving.
3 matches, but the matches that probably stood out the most was the first and second one. The first one because of the fans, but if we was to count everything that goes right, it's the second match because nobody expected Goldberg to fucking job out Lesnar like that.
Do you think Lesnar will... Right, I still remember that Survivor Series match, like, how quick it ended.
I don't even remember the Raw versus SmackDown match, but I remember that damn match.
Yeah, that was the main one that everyone remembered from... That was 2016, wasn't it? Like, or was it 2017 when that happened?
Like, Chris Benoit, he's had countless great matches, but you know what? That WrestleMania 20 match, that main event, is the match that we're always going to stand out in history from, no matter what he did. I don't care what he did in WCW. I don't care what he did in ECW or Japan, any of that. That match right there will forever be his monumental moment.
Yeah.
It's stuff that I mean, guys. Like, savor some of the moments. Savor some of the bigger spots for those bigger matches, That
have the most interest and most bought into.
Yeah, and I get some guys feel like they got to be on edge because they got to stand out in the ring, but
like a lot of them
have got like that's not where the buck stops, Yeah,
it's like a lot of them feel like they've got something to prove, or they're out the door, pretty much.
They don't. And here's the thing. I can't remember one fucking Roddy Piper match, but I can remember when he attacked Jimmy Snuka with that goddamn banana. And I was even born then. I just remember that moment. I watched some Roddy Piper matches, Yeah,
there's a lot of like moments that a lot of people know. Obviously, the Victory Earth incident for me is obviously a moment, but for all the wrong reasons.
No. It's your moment nonetheless, and that's the point I'm trying to emphasize to you guys. Like there's more to just like for those wrestlers that feel like they're confined in that moment. That's not all you have to do, bro. There's other ways to stand out. People hate Baron Corbin, but guess what? They fucking hate him for all the right reasons.
Yeah, like, I admit, I don't like Corbin, but I understand why Corbin is the way he is. He gets over as a heel. Because everyone hates him, but... Like, I hate a lot of people, but there's still respect there with WWE. Like, I respect what Corbin's doing. Like, yeah, it gets to a point where I was just like, oh god, he's back on the TV, let's just turn it over. But...
Yeah.
That's that reason. There's something there that people like. He's one of the top heels on SmackDown.
Yeah, and here's another thing. I'm looking at this picture across from Charlotte Flair, and that WrestleMania 35 moment was supposed to be the moment for Becky Lynch, and guess what? It wasn't. It was the moment where Becky was still fighting after Nia Jax broke her face and she had blood all over. And I was like, you know what? I'll fuck with that Becky.
Well, leading up into Survivor Series.
Yeah, that version of Becky is like, that's what the people wanted,
That's how the man thing literally blew up.
Huh?
That's how the man gimmick literally blew up.
Yeah, I don't find her character to be all that believable. I don't think she needed to call herself the man, but nonetheless, it still made her stand out. Like, it still got me feeling controversial about her. Is whether you like her or you don't, you still talking about her. Shit,
Mm.
I'll give her that. I'll give her that. She got me. She made me a fucking mark. And that's what people need to start doing. Shit like that. That's what I mean, guys. You know. But
Yeah.
if there's something else we could talk about, let's talk about it.
I don't really have anything else to really say right now, like other than what we usually talk about. So all I'm gonna say
Yeah.
is it's always a pleasure talking to you. I thank you for allowing me to do this with you. Muchly appreciated. I know this is really in our booking time for the Interactive family, but
Very much
I
indeed. But the show's
feel
almost ready.
I feel like it was needed that we did this because obviously it helps me understand you more, and obviously it's what I wanted to do with the podcast completely. Obviously, last week we just got on with the draft, which is current affairs and current situations. Obviously, this is another aspect of it where I go one on one with people, talk to people, and try and understand them more. Not just for myself, but for people who want to watch to see, oh, this person's been on. Oh, this is what this person's like. I didn't know that type thing. And obviously,
Yeah. Hopefully, next time when you have me on the guest, I'll show a little bit more of my side of myself. I think today was just more so about me just trying to show you
yeah, like
where I'm at with wrestling. But yeah,
yeah,
carry on,
like
sir.
obviously, I'm gonna say this. He has reserved himself for Triple H. There is a lot he wants to speak about
Oh
Triple
my God.
H, but we'll do that another time. How about
I think you're trying to get another moment out of me.
that? We'll do that another time. We'll do that. That'll be for another week.
I will give you that moment if that's what you need. I will. I will give you that
Probably
moment. But
that is something a moment we can save for another day. I feel.
it's
Unless
it's
you want to,
gonna be.
unless you want to go with it now, you can do. But ideally, I want to save that for another time.
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Because if I say what I gotta say, I mean, people in here already got understanding what I'm trying to say, anyways. But, yeah. All right. So, guys, basically, these other podcasts I won't be giving you any. I won't be giving you as much in detail moments like this. So, here's one last moment before we ride out.
Go for it.
Here's my thing with scouting in WWE. It's done very poorly, in my opinion. It's done with guys that don't feel the taste of what the WWE requires. Wrestlers nowadays are getting injured a lot down there in NXT because they work too much of a strong style. Basically killing themselves for spots, as I was saying. And I feel like the scouting direction has to be geared to more superstars that they get homegrown, that could be superstars, not just a labeled one, but actually feel like one.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they're going wrong. And I think they're picking up too much of a collection of talent in the long run that should be helpful and beneficial to WWE in the main roster. NXT shouldn't be a third brand. It shouldn't be this big thing that it is. Like, as much as I appreciate Triple H's vision, and I get, the understanding that he wants to create a legacy of his own, and this is a way of his doing it without interfering with Vince per se. But for me personally, you're killing the point of it being a developmental brand, and we need better stars. We need guys with gimmicks beyond just being wrestlers, and that has something about that has to be said, because that wasn't division first place fourth by Dusty Rhodes and yourself. Like, it was supposed to be creating the stars of tomorrow. That's what NXT basically stands for. Next, without the E in it. And I think we're losing. Yeah, I think we're losing sight of that. And to keep it as professional as possible, I need to see more characters being built up, and not like if people are good enough to be on the main roster within a 2-4 year period, just bring them up already.
Yeah.
Like, there shouldn't be this notion that you come up to the main roster, your career is killed. It's not that. It's NXT is a lesser reserved place. It used to be a 1 hour show, now it's a 2 hour show, and filling it up with wrestling matches ain't just gonna do the job, man. You gotta You got to do more. You got to have more promo time. You got to have more segment time. You know, you got to do more character building, and you got to have different styles of matches rather than the same styles that we're seeing week in and week out. And I think that's where they're getting lost. And you got to build up people that could get ready for the main roster. You know,
because it was supposed to be a proving ground as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, not everybody's gonna be a big star. You know, some people have to learn how to be great mid carders. Some people have to learn how to be a great tag team guy. You know, learn what you're good at and do it to the best of your ability, so you can bring something to the show. So you could always have TV time. You know,
like build your
learn from the guys like Al Snow. Learn from the guys like Perry Saturn. Learn from Gregory Helms playing the Hurricane gimmick. Like, learn from them. You know, learn from Mr. Perfect. Learn from Rick Rude. You know, learn from them. You know,
learn from all the things that people have done in the past.
Learn from King Corbin right now.
Yeah, Corbin. Yeah.
Yeah, learn from those guys. Because at any moment, hell, Lacey Evans, at any moment, the last few people I just mentioned, they could all head up to the main event if they want. Well, not if they want, if the company looks at them like that. So
yeah,
think about that. If you're always in the mix, that means you're good enough. But yeah, I'm done.
That's it. I thank you for being part of this. Obviously, this was supposed to be a YouTube exclusive over the weekend, but obviously I didn't get a chance to do that, and I felt this would be perfect episode 2 to do. And so you can catch Chris on twitch.tv/Chris Carson, twitter.com/Chris Carson NYC is his Twitter, and any other social medias we need to be aware of, or is that just the main ones?
Just the main ones. It's all good.
So thank you.
I'm not big on having a huge social media presence. Actually,
yeah.
Like, if once I get huge, I don't want that to be a thing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as I say, thank you once again for allowing me to do this with you. Obviously, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Whether it's when I feel like I need to rant about something, or you need to rant something, or we literally just knuckle our heads down and get everything done. It's always appreciated. And obviously, guys, if you want to join the interactive family, I'm going to put the Discord in the link in the description below on the YouTube video, and also the links to Chris's social medias as well.
Thank you for having me, man.
No probs. As I say, the invitation is always open.
Yeah.
For a second one, if we need to go down that route. But as I say, thank you everyone for watching.